you know, they wanted a credit line. So I've got that app here tonight for the, you know, for you to sign. But that's the purpose of it. We're not looking to put the town's credit out there. We don't have a credit card. So, but some of the vendors want a credit app done, and then they give you a limit of whatever it is. But I mean, especially with the highway department, I mean, we buy everywhere for the equipment. I mean, it's hundreds of vendors. They're all got their unique special little things that they sell for the vehicles. So I guess that's kind of the nutshell right there about it. So we're not looking to spend what we don't need to spend. We're looking for places that we can buy it cheaper. Same product, but cheaper.
Virginia?
As much as I understand what you're saying, my idea is that we just seem to have 100 different lines of credit open in this town. And I think it needs to be all reeled in to be in a common, I'm not sure how you do that, but.
My question would be is how would you buy what the town needs? I mean, you know, you're absolutely correct. There are a lot of vendors out there that supply this town with different whatever, from pencils to tires, you know what I mean? How do you, if you pull it all in and you only want to buy from one supplier, I'd like to know that supplier.
No, go ahead. Jeff, I was going to speak, but you can.
Well, I have an idea, which I'd like to sell the people sitting at the front of the room. The town can, and many other towns do, apply for and have a municipal credit card issued through a commercial credit corporation, being either Visa or MasterCard or American Express or Chase. All four of them offer a municipal credit card on which no income sales taxes issue. The question I'd have for Bud or any other, Alan Mayo asked for a line of credit, and the police do this all the time. Would your vendors accept a Visa card as payment? I'm pretty sure 99% of them would.
They pretty much asked if we had a credit card, and we tell them no, the town does not have a credit card.
Then I would be looking for a motion that has the town treasurer-elect, soon to be appointed, to explore immediately, as a first order of business, a town credit card to be kept under the care, custody, and control of the treasurer, i.e. locked in the safe, to which individual department heads apply to put their vendor or their service on the card. This has many benefits, many financial benefits to the town. One, we get very tight control of expenditures. Two, such a card would come with subcodes which would know that 001 is highway and 002 is cemetery and 003 is police, so we bill out accordingly direct to your expense account when we pay the credit card bill once a month. More importantly, from where I sit, it significantly reduces the size of the vendor warrant because we're paying one bill a month, a credit card bill, rather than 27 vendor bills each month. That's 26 stamps, 26 checks, and the time and effort of producing each one of those invoices each month. Just as you do with your own personal credit line at home when you have your cable TV or your water bill or whatever billed to your credit card. It's the same concept, but there is a unique niche for municipalities out there that I don't know a lot about, but I'm sure our treasurer could explore. And then we would have the benefit of being able to go around over the course of a year or 18 months, because it would not happen overnight, and simply saying to each department head, how come we're still getting an invoice from Joe's Auto up the road? That shouldn't be. And gradually extinguishing those lines of credit one at a time.
Question on that, and I don't know much about how that would work, you know, like corporate style here, but in the event that our mechanic, who probably, yeah, he is the one that purchases a lot of supplies for the equipment and whatnot, he would be able to do that over the phone with a number, code,
You know the credit
and or
card
through
number.
my secretary,
Yeah, you know
whoever
the
makes
credit
the
card
phone
number
call.
and your code, and whatever, we'd have to have some control on it simply because we wouldn't want him passing that around. But yeah, no different than you handing your credit card to someone and saying, you know, give it right back. If you know the
Okay.
number to bill it to, you bill it to that credit card number.
Okay, all right, that's.
So you
it
pick
sounds
up the
like a
phone,
good system.
order it with that credit card number.
I guess we would have to assume, I'm
Maybe,
sorry.
maybe you wouldn't want to give it, maybe it's under your control or Gene's control, but one person in the department has control of it.
Right, no, I understand. You know, that
Frank?
could be worked out, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe you should do something small, like just give them each $100,000 limit.
Doug?
And it's very easy, I mean.
I think you have to give a limit somewhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's got a limit to their expense line
Yeah,
for the
but you
year.
can't
so-
have a wide open card.
When you set it up, you can-
Well, no, they can
No, I don't want a new loader.
They can only charge as much as they have in their
So
expense.
you have to have a limit.
Doug?
Right, the way you can set it up is you can actually have cards issued to individuals. The town may have a $100,000 limit, but you could say, okay, Bud's got 20,000, Julie's got 60,000, Jeff's got 40,000. And then you could even say that these particular merchant codes, because every merchant that accepts a MasterCard or Visa has a merchant code, if you will. So like restaurants are all in one group of merchant codes. Auto part places would be in a different code. So you could say that Bud's card can buy stuff from this merchant code, which is auto supplies, but he can't buy anything from a merchant code that's a restaurant. So he couldn't actually go to his card and use his card in lunch or something, but he could buy parts for the truck. So it's very easy,
Do
low
that.
cost, if any cost from the bank.
We briefly talked about this last week, and so there's a lot we're still trying to learn about it, and that's interesting. That's an interesting point. Virginia?
Well, I was just gonna say that whatever they spend it on is gonna come out of their expense account, so they're not gonna wanna be, doing a lot of extras if they're gonna fit in what they have to fit into it.
But it just gives you an extra level of control
Yep.
that you can assure it's not being abused.
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, I think,
Just a level of.
honestly, I really think that we have pretty good control in this town. I do, as far as, and I'm not gonna speak for the other departments, but within my department, I mean, we buy what we need to get the job done, whether it's vehicle repairs or road repairs, I mean. So, I would like to see something possibly like that. I'm not against it. I mean, it sounds pretty good, and maybe we can get free flyer miles out of it. But however, I'm just saying,
I want the
there's always those perks out there, but. But all I wanted to bring up tonight is that we are continuously looking for, cheaper prices. I mean, I always have my mechanic calling around 3 places looking for the same part. It's time consuming, but we're trying to save, we're trying to save the dollar. So,
There's a big difference.
Diane?
We do the same thing at the Board of Health. I spent the last week trying to find the best price on syringes, for the flu shot clinics. So I get a sale catalog, oh my God,
Yeah.
I'm looking to see what the price is.
Yeah. Yes?
Bud, can I address this to Bud?
Yeah.
Do you go through the state vendor list for purchasing?
on certain items, but, like when it comes to repairing vehicles and whatnot,
No?
we don't really have that resource.
Because I know,
to-
working for the Federal School, I had to go to the state vendor list first before I could go purchase other stuff.
We've looked at it, to be honest with you, and
We
we've
were
found.
mandated to do it.
Yeah, we found in our case that it's not always cheaper getting it off that state bid price. It costs more money.
No, but we,
No, and it's convenient, it really is convenient, but it's not always cheaper, so
Yeah,
we
I
use our own
understand.
resources.
no, but it's a good thought to try to,
I do believe that so far, we haven't had an issue with lines of credit. I believe we've been fortunate. This can be a real material weakness when we do our audit. And it's been a concern of mine for a very long time to try to get a handle on lines of credit, just even identifying who had what line of credit, which department, and it just snowballed. It started with 10, it went up to 25, and then we had like 2 pages of lines of credit for different departments. So we need to change what we're doing. We need better control over it. I'm not accusing anyone of misappropriation, that's not what this is. But I think working together, we can find a solution. So I think the credit card, if it's possible, and I think other towns have done it, so I don't see why Templeton couldn't do that as well, and then start eliminating the lines of credit, so that we don't have that exposure.
Right, we're just unique at the highway department as far as, I mean, we have hundreds of vendors. I mean, just hundreds of them out there because of the equipment. So.
Well, that's why
The
we
credit
have to
card will
sign
make it
hundreds
easier.
of those in a
Right.
vendor warrant every time.
Right, well, no, I agree. I mean, hey, I signed the vendor warrants. I know how thick they are, some weeks.
Okay. In hearing this conversation, I now have an issue then, okay? I got a call today from Belletti's. Some people were trying to buy some materials for the site to work on the building. But the council doesn't have a line of credit. So I need to know what to do then. I know Highway has a line, but they don't want to bill it to Highway because it's for council purposes. So,
Eileen, are you speaking about Beltates or?
yes,
Oh, Beltates, okay.
I'm sorry, I probably pronounced it
Do we
wrong,
already
but-
have a line of credit with them? Probably.
Doug and I, actually, I'm sorry if you didn't get the message. Did you talk to her?
I didn't.
Okay, sorry. Doug and I squared that away today via cell phone while we were working. Well, I was working right there.
I got a phone call and they faxed this over to me to
Okay.
fill out and return to them.
So how we're gonna work this particular operation is, the highway department does have a credit line at Beltates, because from time to time, we do need lumber. And so the material was ordered, and it's gonna be billed to the highway department. Once I receive the slip, I'm gonna turn it over to you, or
Okay, that's not
Doug.
what she told me.
Who?
The lady that faxed this over to me. She called me this afternoon, Lillian. She faxed this over to me this afternoon, asked me to tell her I'll get it back to her.
Okay, so, because some material was delivered on site because they need it right away, so to get through this first phase of what needed to be purchased and on site to start work,
Right.
you can still do what you want for future buys.
But I can't sign this, so I don't know if they're gonna sign it.
Okay.
Well, if I'm
Go ahead.
not sure I understand. If we have a line of credit, why isn't it good for the whole town?
Because
Okay.
it's under his,
Each
Right.
department has their own line
Right.
of credit.
That's
Al
how
also
some of the
has a line of
companies
credit.
work. It's
Right.
like the town of Templeton's got an account with Beltates, but it's only good for the highway department. We're the only one authorized to use that account. Other departments have to go through the whole same process. It's a crazy
That's why we have so
thing.
many lines of credit.
right.
Right.
Okay, tractor supply is another one. I don't know who has how many departments have a line of credit with tractor supply. Nothing against the company, it's just,
It's their policy. It's company
That's,
policy.
yeah, that's why we want to look at this credit card thing and just make it simpler for everybody.
So what do I do then? I have to tell her something, she's gonna ask me about this.
My preference would be if Bud can order it under his account, to do it that way and just have you pay the bill under your account.
She didn't wanna do that, so that's what she said in her cover letter.
Okay, Chairtown Lumber then, try them.
Fairtown, there's a few other places.
Yep, just tell her you're going to take your business elsewhere.
Pelletiers.
Al Mayo's got one under
Well,
Chairtown.
that was a question like, Doug was asking me, it's like, who's the cheaper lumberyard around? And we found that Beltates is very, very
Comparable, anyway.
compatible to some others. It depends on what you're buying. One's got this on sale, one's got this, but, and then they, and then of course you get the delivery, so,
Because I know when we did the dugouts again, when we used Chairtown from a lot of what we got, and Al has an account there.
sometimes focusing all the purchases on one vendor, you'll get a better price because you spent, a few thousand
Yeah.
to do the project,
Maybe between the two of you, if you could talk to them and just explain to them that we're looking at changing our system, and if they can order it under Bud's for now.
Okay.
And then, hopefully within 60 days, we'll have it all changed over to a different way of life.
All right,
So to
I'll
speak.
talk with her tomorrow then, see what she says.
And when I talked to the contractor around noontime, he said it was all set. So I didn't
This
know we
was
had a
this
problem.
afternoon. She faxes over to me almost at 3.
If she has questions, she can always call Jeff, talk to him. He can explain it to her. If there's other vendors, if she doesn't like it.
So you know how it works with the highway department, we have certain vendors that we buy from, but only certain people that go in can buy the product. It doesn't mean my entire crew can go up there and get what they want, you know, we have designated people with names and signatures. So that's our form of security.
So we had discussion, did we ever have a motion made? Okay.
I think, Chris,
Yep.
also this will make it easier for the vendors to get paid immediately instead of waiting 30 days for a check from the town. You know, what I mean, they'll be happier.
It won't make a difference.
With what, with going with a credit card, or?
If they have the credit card, they can get paid instantly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're dealing with the credit card, not waiting for the town to send a check, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
So, all right, so the motion we're looking for is to have our new treasurer, when appointed in a couple of weeks, have this be one of their first things to look into, right? Is that what you're looking for?
Municipal credit card. So I will make that motion.
Okay,
Second.
okay. It's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? I think we've pretty much nailed it.
Well, in the meantime,
Well, let's get through this motion.
okay,
I mean, we already paid that bill anyway, didn't we?
yes, we did, but
So,
I
Pat,
don't have to buy anything.
Virginia, this is to have the new treasurer.
Yes.
Look at the credit card.
Yes.
And Julie,
Yes.
I'll vote yes on that one. Yeah.
Can we go with the Chase card, though, because it's part of my family?
If they give us the best deal.
Because the guy I talked to last year in a different town was from Chase, and he was down in Round Rock, Texas. I said, well, I'll have to come down there to sign the papers then.
Is this in the winter?
Yeah, it was a winter, a year and a half ago.
I don't know, I mean, that bill's already been paid. Do you still want us to do that? Are you gonna be using them in the next 30, 60 days?
It depends if they've got some sale items, and that's all we were looking to do.
Yeah.
You know, we went to,
Well, let's try to hold off then.
yeah, I can hold off on that, I mean, that's,
You know, we're doing treasurer interviews Monday, so hopefully, you know, within 14 to 20 days, we'll have the
this can be
treasurer.
brought up at a later time. It's,
Okay.
I know Gene had been talking to Jeff about it, and perhaps that's how it got on the agenda.
All right. Okay, next is special town meeting date. And on here it says 11/15 question mark.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
After discussion with town clerk.
Yes.
And the superintendent of schools, and scheduling the middle school auditorium, and available dates, the requirements of notice, the availability of the town clerk to actually, et cetera, et cetera. It was the clerk's recommendation that I bring to you, the recommendation for November 15th, which is a Thursday night, 7 p.m. If you so vote, we will have a warrant prepared shortly. And there are no big issues for this special town meeting. It's mostly, I call it small potatoes, but to me, anything that's under $10,000, moving money here and there is small potatoes. It's a bunch of financial, move stuff around issues. Dealing with, you know, the very short budget we have this year and the need to move money to pay things that we're running short on and move money from one account to another. There may be, I have not been in touch with the individual, there may be one citizen's petition regarding liquor licensing. That's a maybe.
And we also have to notify all the other boards, and when will they have to have their, when do we have to have the warrant posted?
Yes, we have to have the warrant posted 14 days before, which is, let's say November 1st.
Okay.
It's technically the second one, November 1st. So if you were to vote this date tonight, first thing we'll do tomorrow morning is put the notice around that the warrant is open until the 1st. Actually, I'd like to make it a little bit shorter than that so that we can actually clean it up and then post it on the 1st.
Okay. So, well, I mean, if we can have them have their, anything they want in by, say, the 26th would close, right? Because that's a holiday.
25th?
25th is, oh, October, that's right.
Is that October? Yeah.
So October 25th, yeah.
Thursday, October 25th. And we are close of business, which would be 3 PM.
Why not?
Well, they, you know, I'm in on Friday, they can email it too.
Yeah, why not the 29th? Because right now it's the 9th. That's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't leave the warrant open, and some boards just met today.
right, okay, so, but then we're gonna have to meet before the 1st, so we can post it on the 1st, and the 31st is Halloween,
Right,
so it's gonna have to be Tuesday the 30th.
right.
You're too big to trick or treat. They tell you.
My grandson's not.
All right, so could we have it October 29th?
Yep,
At least give us-
and we can have our meeting on the 30th. And if anybody on the select board has articles, they should bring them before us on the 22nd. So if any of you have articles you want to put on, have them ready for the
So
22nd.
I take that you will make a motion and that the warrant will be open shortly? We don't have a meeting scheduled yet.
Right.
Okay.
Virginia?
I move that we go for the 11/15 date as written on the agenda, and that all articles have to be in by October 29th, and it'll be posted by the 1st.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none. Patrick?
Yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
Julie?
I'm going to abstain, I have a conflict that night. I have to work around it. Haven't done it yet.
Okay, I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Old business. East Templeton Elementary School. What do we do with East Templeton Elementary School? Julie?
Well,
Do we know if, first of all, if the advisory board or if Will's heard anything from historical? They haven't met again.
He's out there right now.
Oh, is that where he is now?
Right, there was a lot of meetings tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I had to miss one.
I know, all these meetings at one night.
Well, we got thrown off because of the holiday, but everybody else kept their regular date, so it's our fault. We technically probably didn't need to meet.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, yeah, I missed my light and water meeting to be here, so.
So,
okay.
Go ahead.
The only,
Oh.
you still, go ahead, go ahead.
really, I was just to say.
Go ahead.
What I wanted to say was, I've been talking to, there's a person who works in our school district from Train, and we've had many conversations. He actually lives in Templeton. And Train does a number of performance contracting projects. The last project they did for school was in West Springfield. And he was going to be here tonight. I guess he got tied up. I think I had my phone ringing, but my ringer was off, so I missed the call. He was just going to talk a little bit about what performance contracting is and the savings that can be had for what you're paying now as far as like for rent and fuel. You could probably update East Templeton. It would be a 20-year payback period. And it's a contract that you would have to look at very carefully. But I think at this point, we're not sure how long we would be in East Templeton. If we go with a historic designation for East Templeton, that effectively ties your hands
Right.
for that building.
Right.
Performance contracting would not tie your hands. I don't see us looking at our debt and what we have for debt. I think performance contracting is something we should really seriously look at and entertain very quickly for East Templeton. The building is old, it does not owe us anything, but we have very limited options. And watching, the prior municipal building committee, we have a piece of property that we've put $700,000 into, and we can't use it. And we're struggling to figure out a way to pay it back. I think this may be a way to have a municipal building for 20 years that would fit within our budget and our costs, and I think it's worth exploring at this time.
Now, obviously, if we go that route, we're gonna have to make that somewhat handicap accessible,
Right.
which is gonna come at a cost as well.
Right. but if
Now,
you
will
spend
that be
all the-
part of the, part of their contract?
You can ask, you can tailor it, what you want them to do or what you don't want them to do.
Okay.
So they can give you all kinds of different estimates, different scenarios. So if you just want the boiler, the roof, the windows, that's one cost. If you want to do the bathrooms and make it completely ADA compliant, that's another cost. And they have a formula that they work out, and it would all have to be vetted out and checked, okay? And if they don't meet their performance, say they're gonna save you, it's gonna cost you $100,000 a year for that building for 20 years. And it ends up costing $120 a year. They pay the 20. So there are some benefits to it.
Virginia?
Yeah, I would like to hear this guy talk because I don't know anything about performance contracting, but a couple of things. If we commit ourselves to that and then we decide to move out of there, then where are we with that? Would we just have to keep paying on it? Might back up a little bit. After the new elementary school gets built,
Right.
which is probably not going to be for another 3 or 4 years, conservatively.
Right.
What if we thought that that Templeton Center was a better building for us to move into?
Well, it's larger and, yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's going to be vacant at that point. So are we going to be glued to East Templeton if we have that opportunity?
Well, I think East Templeton could be repurposed for something else. We could probably sell it for something else and pay off the performance contract.
Okay.
I think you can do that. I think that's one option. The other thing, I think that's what happened, there was such a scramble for a municipal building that it was always, we're gonna move into one of the elementary schools. And when that didn't happen fast enough, all these other side projects took off. So we live in a very uncertain world with an uncertain future. I'm on the elementary school building committee and I'm committed to working to get one. If that fails, if we are not able to convince the voters to pay for the elementary school, I think we need to look at performance contracting for Baldwinville and Templeton Center to make them
Have to
habitable.
do something.
Right, for 20 years, because it's going to take us that long to get back on the list if it still exists in 20 years.
I also,
Yeah.
I do agree with Julie that getting ourselves tied up with the Historical Commission at this point is probably not a good idea because we haven't made a decision on what we're going to do yet, and we would be tied by that.
Right, like Julie said, if we get it deemed historical, then we can never do anything else with it other than keep it
Preserve it.
preserved as a town building. I think what I'd like to see us do is somehow come up with a list of what we want done at East Templeton and then put out an RFQ. But we need to have a list of what we want them to do and what we need them to look into.
Well,
Before we
the
can go
only
for
information
bids.
on this that I have, which comes from Bill Claybaugh, who managed the building up to and through June of 2011, not 10. According to his estimate at that time, definitely needs a roof and gutters, heating plant, and it's some windows, or at some point, all windows and doors. We didn't talk about insulation. Electrical is in pretty good shape because it was done 15 years ago. So roof, gutters, and heating plant, and whatever handicap accessibility and/or plumbing you want done. There's adequate plumbing there. Adequate is the key word. It wouldn't meet code today, but according to the building inspector, you could certainly get a temporary occupancy permit being grandfathered into a school building. One other thing comes out of the blue, but it might inform the decision. I had an email today. I've been having a running conversation with a group, a religious organization here in Templeton that is growing quickly and looking for space. And they're looking all around the area for space they could lease. One thing that they want to consider is the possibility of leasing that building from us for the cost of heating it this winter. I throw that only because it's a bit of a red herring. Even if you invited an organization to lease a property for a year for the cost of maintenance or whatever, there'd be some serious issues about the cleanliness of the place and the liability that we have, and all of that stuff. That really attaches because we're a municipality. If we were a private venture, it wouldn't be much of an issue as a municipality. But I just wanted to let you know there are people inquiring about
East Templeton?
East Templeton in particular.
Meet every Sunday morning.
Yes.
I know one thing, you have to get out of here. The air quality is horrendous. I don't know how you guys stand it.
Yeah.
And whatever we put into East Templeton, we're not gonna lose. Because if you improve a building, you're not gonna lose money unless you absolutely go off the deep end. And you can always sell it for something else. You know, if we could get, I'm willing to bet we could get almost all the departments into that one building, and it'd make it easier for people that want to do business with the town. It's crazy, if you come from out of town and you have to have a permit signed, God bless you. You know?
What kind
Follow
of
the
permit?
yellow
You have
brick
to follow
road.
that.
No,
They're in the
they're
wrong
closed.
building.
Yeah, but even at that, you have to follow the yellow brick road. And I think that's a super idea.
Yes. Yes, Frank.
We talk about handicap accessible. Go get a building permit.
Yeah. Go to somebody's fence
Dangerous
office.
stairs,
Yeah,
Go to
2
MEMA.
stories high, I mean,
exactly.
they worry a little bit about,
Go to MEMA.
I mean, you get
Up there.
some serious problems. Even this building isn't really handicap accessible. I mean, it is, but it's not. I mean, that's not.
Well, you park in the other
Yeah,
parking lot.
yeah, but,
Even then, it's a long walk around.
Yeah. I mean,
Yep.
Blowing your money when you're here.
I know. All right, so, do you guys want to
I think,
get a list first, or do we want to just have?
I think what we should do is have someone
Got a
come in,
vacant church in town, let them take over the
companies, and
vacant
they can
church.
explain what they'll do.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like 7 cents, 5 to 7 cents a square foot.
Quiet, please.
To do the estimate, and once they do the estimate, then you'll know what you've got. And then you can make a decision based on that.
Vacant, go after that. Well,
I think it'd be a lot cheaper than $700,000.
All right, so we should try to get somebody in to, so what will they do, go through the building, or just come talk to us and explain it to us, or
But I think there's no reason why they can't look at the building.
go through the building?
Yeah. What kind of motion?
The only problem with that is, the only problem with that is that a company that's gonna make money is gonna tell you you need a lot more things than you may actually need. I mean, if I was a contractor, I would try to rack it up.
Which is why I'd like the idea of somehow one of our staff or knowledgeable people in town or a committee who, we don't have a building committee, and somebody who knows construction, walk through there with a clipboard and just make some good estimates as to what work they think needs to be done.
That's a good idea, Mr. Machete.
Yes.
Before,
I got just a question, happened to hit me on the Ballinville building again. We know the roof isn't safe, I mean, that was a big issue. Do we, see we got $700,000 tied up in it, do we have insurance on that building in case it collapses this winter?
Well, the roof is safe, it's just not up to the new codes that they put in.
Still collapses.
Standards.
Do we have insurance on that building?
we have general liability
I
coverage
mean,
on it.
if it collapses,
Yeah. I'm not sure how much they give
Well, I'm
us.
just curious because it don't meet the code. If it collapsed, would insurance pay us?
They would pay you something.
I'm just curious, if, you know, we could have heavy winter this year, an unheated building.
Right.
It could collapse.
4 feet of snow.
Because, you know, I mean, it could happen. I'm just, if we don't, I think it'd be well worth, if you get that kind of money tied up, it'd be worth checking and making sure we do have that
You
insurance.
know, they're coming in next
So,
week to talk to
back to where we were, if we're, you know, we probably should get these guys in to come and give us an estimate, but I think probably it would be in our best interest to also have somebody from town that is knowledgeable about such things.
Like the Harris guy.
Or
The building inspector.
the building inspector should be involved, yeah.
Yeah, building inspector, why can't he be there?
Well, that's.
He has gone through the building
But I mean, with the
for a
company.
temporary occupancy.
Be better off.
You know, like they said, the wiring was good, but I'll bet there's not enough internet connections that people are gonna need down the road. I remember Bob Pope telling me that his buildings were just up to snuff, brand new. Yeah, 60 years ago.
No,
You know,
that building is scheduled,
Never.
I'm sorry.
It's only imagined.
No, that building is scheduled to be a drop for the mass broadband. Okay, so that's one of the anchor institutions that's been identified, the police station, the library, the schools. And I made sure that one got kept
Oh,
on the
good girl.
list.
So, I still don't have any motions, so. At this point, I don't even know what we're motioning. We've talked about so
Well,
much.
why don't we
Just to have,
just direct the town coordinator to look, to get someone in here for above performance contracting.
To talk to us.
Yeah, to talk to us about it, the process, and
That's probably a good start.
then we can go from there.
all right, got that, Jeff?
It's fine, it's just, I don't wanna lose a lot of time, I don't know how long it'll take, but I can call tomorrow to see.
Yes.
And I know of two firms, Crane and Siemens.
Yeah.
If you know of any others, let me know. The Franklin Cog, I've had a discussion with the FR Cog. They don't do this, they have someone out there who's knowledgeable in this, and I've had discussions with him, but he wouldn't steer me to any particular company.
And if, can I just say, if we're gonna think about doing a walkthrough with them, next week, I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I'd love to be around to do that.
I'd like to do it.
No.
No.
Yes, Beth?
We were talking back here, peanut gallery. We all still think that it wouldn't hurt to put 252 Baldwinville Road on for sale. To see if somebody bites. It's not making us any money sitting there. And it could be a long, cold day in hell before we get enough grants to make a police station out of it.
Well, I think we owe it to the police chief to let him do his study first.
Well, okay, but
Because he's gonna need a roof too, right? Because it's open to the public.
Yep.
every day that.
He's probably gonna rip
Okay.
it down.
Oh,
He may.
That's what I do.
He may.
Right.
Maybe I
Yeah, we
can
don't have the money right now.
perform his contract on that building.
They're gonna be years down the line and when.
Can it be done?
It probably could be a lot more.
Sell 5 million, whatever.
All
East
right,
Templeton is.
anyway, let's see. Next we have, no, we're not doing it. Jeff's just gonna,
Jeff's gonna look into some more things and see if we can get somebody coming to the next meeting.
it's just a directive.
PM guy did the job.
Board of Selectmen Finance Goals as rewritten. Do we have the rewritten?
Yeah, he's rewritten.
Yeah.
Mr. Spring had given us a set of his suggestions for financial goals and policies. Basically, what this is, we talked about it at one meeting, I was hoping he was going to be here, and Will, by the way, approves of this, he likes what was done to it.
Okay.
So basically what I did was take out the policy part and turn it all into goals, and I changed very little over and above that. What I did not know is what the capital planning policies already were, so I left that as policies. I'm assuming they already have policies of their own.
I know they exist, I haven't seen them, but I know they
Yeah.
exist.
So I would question whether those go along with whatever they have for capital planning policies at the present time.
I don't see a conflict with the capital planning policies and the rest being goals.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to adopt the financial goals as written.
Any discussion? Yes?
Yeah, as vice chair, I would like to table that until Will is here so we can.
Well, this is
No,
our,
but from what I understand, just by listening, that he had given you something and you have changed some of the
we've
words.
changed it
What I'm
from
saying is.
policy to goals.
Right, so what I'm saying is, if he's not here to, able to question the difference, that I would like to have a table till he's available.
But this has nothing to do with your policies, the advisory, but this is the selectmen's.
But this is something
Oh.
that we, as a group, had put together for.
Right, and we had told
Right.
him, when he brought it before us, that we felt uncomfortable calling it policies because we couldn't guarantee that we could adopt them as fast as he wanted
And
them.
all I'm asking you is to table it until he's available to be able to speak on it. That's,
I think Virginia said she
I-
has spoken
I
to him
did-
already.
I had a conversation with Will, and he was okay with this, and as a matter of fact, thanked me for doing it. So,
They did have that conversation.
I wasn't aware of that part of it.
Good job, though.
Have you seen it?
No, I
Do you want a copy?
Yeah, please.
The only change I would make is in the first paragraph. Eventually, we can hope to turn many of them into policies.
Oh,
Of them instead of if them.
them.
Yeah.
Turn many of instead of if.
right.
Okay? That was
Just a
the only-
typo. Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Julie?
Yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
The policies and procedures, Board of Selectmen policies and procedures. No,
I didn't see any changes.
I didn't either.
Well,
I was told there were no changes.
No, that's, I've submitted this three times.
I was gonna say, people have submitted changes. And I asked them to be put in red so we could see them.
All right, let's table this then,
Yes.
because
yeah,
it's the same thing. Now I have
Exactly.
6 of these.
Is there any way that we can get this sent to us in an electronic form?
So that we can just,
Yes,
So
I
we can-
believe so. I'm not sure I have it. but
I think Kate
believe
has
so.
it.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
We've been through
therefore, we
this.
can bring it electronically. And I know that the first time we discussed it, which was first of 4 times, I made written notes on my hard copy,
Well,
which I still have.
Right.
I made
And
a
it was,
lot
there
of
were
notes.
some very simple changes that we could undertake, like change the word administrator to coordinator everywhere.
Everywhere,
If it were electronic and if you could just do a search and replace.
right. But the other thing that I was thinking is they have the role of the town administrator in here. Now granted, you just said that you wanted to change all those words, but that paragraph still describes the role of a town administrator.
Which we don't have.
So we should just delete that paragraph.
Well, how about I commit to tracking down an electronic version, sharing it with all of you, to make whatever edits you want. We won't put it back on this agenda until we consolidate all of those edits.
And I hope, by the way, that we can get the government study back underway, because it is my feeling that we need to make a change in our town government, and I would like to see us
never
have
saw
a town
changes.
administrator. That's just my thought, but I think that
Yeah,
the government
we
study
did.
committee needs to get back together and talk about it and see what everybody
Well, that was
thinks we
the
need.
purpose of the
Yeah.
government study.
Before I go on to new business, is there any other old business? Yes, Joe?
Just one question. I know I was sick the last meeting, I didn't get an opportunity to come, I think Will was also sick. But wasn't there something on the agenda about the monies that the...
Yeah, it got tabled because Will wasn't there.
Right. Do you have the status on that?
No, we didn't do anything with it because Will wasn't there to ask what he wanted to ask. So it's still, nothing's been asked of us and nothing's been done.
Right.
What was that?
I can tell you exactly, I have it someplace here. Don't ask me where.
It's what is it referred to?
This.
I mean, it's a pretty straightforward.
What I know is that Mr. Spring has some information that he got directly from the board, which we don't have in our records, and we were going to have a public discussion of it. So it can be rescheduled at any time.
Last time I talked to Will, we were down to missing, a very small amount of time in
2010.
October of 2010 or something. And outside of that, notwithstanding missing those records, they weren't showing that there was any wrongdoing done.
At that time, in 2 years elapsed, you don't have it.
Pardon?
2 years you don't have, 2 years you don't have what's happening.
No, we have records for all except for a very short period of time in 2010. We have 2011 and 2012.
And 2009 as well.
And 2009.
I have something else under old business. Have we gotten anywhere with the Insurance Advisory Board?
We're waiting, we have a board waiting to be seated, but I have not heard back from the union, the laborers local, as to who they would put on the board.
Okay.
I would recommend, and I'm having a meeting, I let our insurance agent Amaya know that we're seating a board. Of course, that got their attention, and they're coming in to just have a roundtable discussion the week after next, at which, of course, we can ask them to be ready and available to provide data and information. But to answer your question, I think it's completely appropriate for the board that we have seated to meet, absent the union representative. If they can't get someone to the table, we can't wait any longer. So if you'd like, I'll send the message to them that we're going to schedule a meeting. And
did you want to wait till you have a treasurer on board, or not necessarily?
It's not imperative. The first meeting's going to be organizational
Okay.
anyway, so the treasurer-elect should be made known that they serve automatically on this board. But, no, I think the sooner we start, the better, because part of the issue is just getting the data out and strategic, deciding what the town wants to take on. We can't take it all on at once, obviously, so the sooner the better. Do you want to mention personnel board at the same time? Beverly, nice that you're here this evening.
Yeah.
We have a personnel board that has not met in some time because Selectman Bennett has been called to duty. He was the chair. What to do? Bev is the vice chair, and she and I met late last week, and we're going to put a package together and call, and we've tentatively scheduled, so I should announce right here, but I haven't sent it around yet. Wednesday night next week here, what did we agree on? 6:30 here in this room on the 17th. It's not posted yet, but that's the chosen time and date for a meeting of the personnel board. And the major topic of that meeting will be to begin the review of our policies and bylaw by virtue of looking at alternative personnel policy and alternative bylaws to just restart the process. Not specific, but very general, very broad.
Now, I saw somebody signed up for that. Was it you, Julie?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So should we maybe do those 3 appointments
You should, actually.
tonight?
Yeah, that
I
would be
did
fun.
too.
Yeah, you signed up for something.
For the personnel board.
Oh, you were already
You're
on it.
already on.
Yeah.
But the three that Jeff
Oh,
resigned,
okay,
there was a
okay.
list in the book, and Julie signed up for two, you signed
Capital
up for one.
planning,
Yeah.
personnel,
And senior
Oh, the
oversight?
senior oversight committee.
Virginia's wanted to be on senior oversight, Julie wanted to be on.
I took it because.
I think she took the other two.
The other-
So the two personnel and.
Yeah,
So maybe,
Yeah, it would be good
Not
to
gonna be able to
make those
set up
formal appointments.
hard to get three things.
To understand.
Four is too many.
yeah, maybe we should do those three appointments so that way you can legally be on the committee anyway.
Yeah.
So it's Julie Farrell for Personnel Board
And capital.
and Capital Planning, and Virginia for Senior Oversight Committee, all terms expiring June 30th, 2013.
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion to that effect?
So,
Second.
Okay, wait a minute. So your personal one, capital plan, right? Capital planning. And Virginia.
Senior Oversight.
Senior oversight.
Motion made by Patrick, seconded by Virginia.
Motion. Okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Kat?
yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
Julie? What's the
Yes.
matter?
This huge thing flying around.
Yes, warrant.
I know. Since we started.
It's probably trying to get to the other
She said
bugs.
3 or 4, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
4.
4.
I voted.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Action on quotes for senior center fire sprinkler system. Okay. They received 2 quotes for the fire system in the new senior center. The low bid was fire sprinkler services at $24,375. The other bid was life safety fire protection at $35,000. They had a third company that they asked for, and they did not submit a bid, so they only received 2. They are asking for us to accept the low bid from fire sprinkler services of $24,375. Now,
Now we have to go over the bonding and performance bond.
yeah, that's what I was reading.
Why do we not need a performance bond?
Because of the size,
Because it's under 25,000.
yes. It's not required by law.
You may ask for one, but you don't have to have one.
Doesn't our policy say that we get one?
There's no written
We
policy.
don't have any policies, that's why we need to get some.
I know, what I thought I read somewhere where, when we took this out before, because we had a problem with performance bonds.
Well, that's why they asked, has our bonding policy been revised to coincide with state law? So,
So the state law says we don't need one.
That's correct.
Right, so I think we've been relying on state law.
so
Make a motion to award the fire sprinkler to fire sprinkler service and maintenance, not to exceed $24,375.
with a 50% payment bond? That's what they're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but that's over 25,000.
No, payment bond.
It says this contract should only need a 50% payment bond and no
Right.
performance bond.
Right.
That's what Doug was asking, but it's not required. So I told him in my email, just to tell him that we leave it to the committee, or, it's not something that we're telling him that's required, it's up to the town.
Right, I was asking that question in the email that you're reading.
Yeah.
So we come to find that it's not really required. This particular company, they're doing the design and installation themselves. It's not like they're hiring another contractor to do the installation when we get to that point. So they're, pretty much the only contractor involved.
I also remember looking at the contract document, it says there will be a full inspection and test by the building inspector and fire chief prior to acceptance.
Okay,
So there's your performance bond.
okay,
Is
yep.
acceptance.
So they don't get paid unless
Right.
the sprinkler system
Unless
is
it
right
passes
for
the
it.
test.
Okay. All right, so we don't need any because he's the only one.
Right.
Payment bond is really to protect his subcontractors. There are none, so. Okay, we're good. So, you made the motion, was it
I did make
seconded?
the motion.
Did you second it? No?
I don't remember. I
I
thought
don't.
you did.
Second, okay,
Do you want
Pat.
to make the motion again?
Any other discussion?
Dry or wet?
So what?
I'd have to read it.
How many square foot is that now? The building?
It's 5,000 each floor, so it's total of 10, 5,000 each floor.
It's all your area needed?
What have we done in the past for payment bonds?
I know we,
Payment bond is to protect the subcontractors. There are no subcontractors on this. So that's why they don't need the payment.
Well, I'm asking.
Yeah, I just explained that a couple minutes ago. All right, so any other questions, concerns? All right, Patrick?
Yes.
Virginia?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
You end up not.
Also, I have this letter that Julie wrote for the library under new business. You all got a copy of it, I believe. Because there were budget cuts made, they need to explain, actually, I'll let you explain. You were the one that was there.
All right, when a library's budget is cut, a public library's budget is cut, you can apply for a waiver from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, and you can still, if you get granted the waiver, then you still are allowed to have borrowing privileges in other towns, cities and towns. So we did cut the library budget. One of the justifications, and I did attend the last trustees meeting, and I gave them a sample letter, and I also gave them the green sheets, to show that they were not disproportionately cut.